the president, David Chartrand, standing by.
President Chartrand.
His weekly report. Métis Matters. Yeah, doing pretty good.
And Jeff, you're doing well?
I'm doing well, Mr. Chartrand. How you doing?
Good. You're trying to represent your grandpa. It's going to be a hard task.
I'm doing what I can do. But I learned from the best. So.
Oh, he was the best. Right, he was the best. He was my colleague for at least 26 years. Okay, let me get an update on what's going on in the Federation, what's going on with our people across our beautiful province, and, of course, Western Canada, where a lot of our citizens also live, and parts of the United States. But I think one of the things I want to start off first is commending the firefighters again. Cowboy just asked me, do you still smell smoke? Is smoke still abundant in Cranberry? I'm in Cranberry Portage right now. And in fact, our goal, usually the first week of June, we come out and fish, a few of us, and we try to catch at least 20 to 25 pounds each. And then we take it all back and feed our elders. And so we usually try to get about 100, 120 pounds. And we, of course, it's never enough to feed all the elders, but we make sure all of them get at least a good feed and have the traditional ability to eat their foods that they grew up on. And so and even here, Bert Linfit actually, he said, I got 20 pounds already caught and packaged, and I'm going to donate that to the elders. So big thank you to Bert Linfit this morning. Actually, I was invited to his house for breakfast. He cooked some mean breakfast. He had a variety of, actually used fresh, frozen, homemade blueberries from our own traditional grounds. So it was great to see that happening and the taste. And I sent a picture to Gloria to show for her to be jealous. And he also gave us cranberry jam that he made himself. It's really a cranberry spread. It's different than the cranberry jams you buy the jelly style. So it's really good. Kudos to Bert. Of course, his wife Vivian for being a host and serving us and helping us. And I truly want to say a big thank you to Kelly. Kelly actually and his wife came out last night. We got out in Cranberry late last night, and we started hooking up our camper for the kids to sleep and us to sleep in the house here and then also in there. And then there's no adapters. And I was freaking mad. And I used the word freaking. I wasn't swearing. Don't anybody say I was swearing on the show. Because whoever put all the stuff away in St. Madeleine took the adapters. So now I have no power. So thank God Kelly Richardson and his wife Donna came out, and he's a Métis citizen, and they're very proud people. And they bought us an adapter, and I was so thankful. We got power for the kids. Inside there, so they have lights. And then on top of that, his wife gave me a beautiful Louis Riel necktie. I can't wait to show it off either at St. Madeleine or I'll show it off at the Assembly. So I want to thank Kelly and Donna for the great hospitality, and again, Bert for spoiling us this morning. But I also want to say a special thank you going back to the smell of smoke up in the north. When I was driving, coming in yesterday, I was driving with Junior. That's Derek Danielson's little boy. And he's about 5 years old, and he's sitting in the front there, and he's sitting on the seat there, and he's looking outside the window. And then he starts to seeing all this burnt, all the way down, coming back past Wanless, all the burnt that took place, and all the trees are just black, and it looks really, really in a sad shape. And he asked me what happened. I said, there was a fire here, big fire, chased all the people away. I said, made them move to Winnipeg. So I was trying to explain to him. He said, that looks ugly. It was so beautiful here, he said. So a 5-year-old, and so because he does come back and forth to Cranberry, and here he's telling me how beautiful this was. He's either 4 or 5. He's telling me how beautiful it is versus how it looks now. So that's an observant of an innocent child who sees this with his own eyes and sees the devastation that happened here. So you can see why the evacuations took place. But I'm sure we're going to get a lot of heroic stories because it was a dangerous time for firefighters. So many of them risked their life to be out there fighting, and some of them risked their life to fight for the communities. I know a good story. For example, Dennis Hatch and a crew stayed back in Sheridan to save Sheridan. And I want to thank them big time on the show. And Métis wants to thank you because we're trying to help with Sheridan right now with the graveyard and also the water and Coal Lake, which we believe is still contaminated with the burying of all of the mine buried a lot of I'll call it garbage, so that they buried underneath the lake. They drained the lake and they buried all of the, I'm trying to think of the name of it. There's a name that you do with all of the leftover minerals. And so they buried them underneath the tailings, I think they call them, and they buried them underneath the lake after they drained it, and they put the water back. Now the water is orange. It's still orange. That's 1950s. So when you start looking at the devastation, it may be 50 years, 60 years later, but it does come. And you can see it there. So we've been working with Chartrand trying to help them out on that. So and now to realize that Dennis Hatch and his team and other firefighters saved the town, it's heroic in many ways. I'm sure we're going to hear more and more of those stories out there. And some of the firefighters have been sharing these stories with me, and I'm so proud of them, of the work they did. And, of course, it's not over, and this is the beginning of summer. But I did have a big rainstorm coming in, so I'm sure that it's a dream of every firefighter to see these rainstorms, except not the lightning. We've seen a lot of lightning at the same time. So, but going back to why I'm here, we come here every year. There's about usually 6 of us, and we try to get at least, I said, 100 pounds of fillets. It's a lot of work, because after we catch them, I'm no good to fill it. I'll be very honest to radio. I don't know how to fill it. I do try, and I keep on always breaking the skin. I push too hard, and I'm a mess, and I don't want to send that to elders all chopped up fillets. So Derek Danielson usually does that, and an expert job, and you'll never find a bone in his fillets. And so when you look back and you ask yourself, smile in these elders' faces when Derek drops them off, because I already got 100 pounds waiting for us in Winnipeg. I got from Stanley Delaron in Duck Bay. And now we bring another 100 pounds. We'll have over 200 pounds of fish we can actually deliver to so many of our elders across the province. So I'm looking forward to that. Happy smile. And the people, the smallest gestures like a package of fish, it means so much to our people. It means, to many, it's nothing. If you have a lot of money, you can go to the store and buy yourself pickerel or catch it on your own. If you're rich enough to get your boat and everything out there and catch your own fish if you're in a good location that you live in. But a lot of these elders that move from the north, move from central small communities, move to the big cities, they don't have that luxury and opportunity. So that's why we are proud of the MMF. This program has been ongoing for years now, and we're very proud that we're able to make smiles in many of the elders' faces upon them biting into their first pickerel for the year. On other good notes, Albert Beck was in town. Of course, he's leading our file, him and Andrew Carrier, our minister, are leading the file. I believe it's Andrew. I'm positive I'm right on that, but if not, I'll correct it. I'm sure he's the minister of 60 Scoop, and because Denise Thomas was minister at one time, but Albert Beck was in town, and there's more checks being issued. As you know, we announced with our own money, MMF money, not government, not provincial, not federal. We took it upon our earnings, and we put $2 million aside to make sure there's some justice given to the 60 Scoop survivors, the Métis, who have not received anything. So what we did is we're actually giving them an advance of $5,000, which we can collect after if we win the case. Of course, we have 2 issues on the case. People are asking, and people do continue to ask, where are we at with the 60 Scoop? Well, we filed a case against Canada. We put a lawsuit against Canada because they promised they'd negotiate, but that's gone now at least 12 years. Over 10 years now, we've been waiting for them to finalize the negotiation. So it's a nightmare. Going too close to 10 years, I take it. And so when you look, there's another case that's finding its way through the court, and we took intervener on that. So to make sure that our Métis citizens do have justice. But in the meantime, we're presenting these $5,000 checks in advance. It's called a Bridge to Justice Fund. 120 applicants already received that $5,000. $600,000 have gone out to our people. We set aside, as I said, $2 million. We have 275 total applications. 49 are pending right now. 27 are waiting from the province for child protection information to get that data and information from them. So we're in a good position that way. And again, I think the staff and the minister for all the work they're doing there. And I was honored to give a check to on behalf of the 60 Scoop and of course the Bridge to Justice. Albert Beck himself was a 60 Scoop survivor. So I was very, very proud to do that. And my mother-in-law is actually a 60 Scoop survivor, and her sisters and her brother. They too were taken. And she tells a story, and it's a painful story to listen to. She's the oldest of the children, and to see that the kids are all being taken and split up everywhere, and not to see each other for how long it takes before they reunited again. Think of the impact and the effects that happen there when you scoop these children out and they're spread out everywhere. with foreign families they do not know, and just giving away like something you're exchanging for a trade. And so it is quite sad to hear these stories, and the ones that we found in the United States, like that a lot of sexual abuse took place, and abuse to the culture, abuse to them physically. So these are sad stories to hear. It's sad that our country doesn't seem to come to terms with getting it done instead of forcing us to the courts. So again, I want to say to living survivors, because we are going to sue for the dues that passed also, and but many of them are passing. That's why the Federation, as the Métis government, decided to do something, because most of them are dying on us. They're never going to see justice. So that's why we set aside $2 million to make sure that if there's no settlement, they never have to pay it back. It's theirs. MMF will take the investment and decide that we will eat the costs, and it's our job as a government to do what we can. So again, I'm very, very proud of the work that's there, and kudos to all those that are making such a big difference. Now, let's not forget St. Madeline's coming up, July 18 to 20. Anybody wants to see some great music, food, and entertainment, and many games, many traditional Métis games will be taking place. So put that in your calendar. There's several thousands of people that show up there. So July 18, 20. Now, let's not forget last year we announced the transition of the land coming back to us. And again, I want to thank the Premier and the government of Manitoba for recognizing what they did to the Métis in 1938, I believe. That's when they burnt the village down, and our people lived there. We had a school, we had a church, and they burnt it down for cattle. And that still irks me as a leader. It really tells me how little they see the value of our people, how they saw that cattle was worth more than our Métis people and families. That hurts me. That still bothers me in my heart that they would do that. And what bothers me the worst, no one in this country spoke against it. No one. They knew it happened, but nobody did it except the survivors that still tell the story. And I was very proud to see, of course, our new Premier, Wab Kinew, doing the right thing and transferring the land to us. And of course, we can't build houses there. I don't think we'll ever build houses. There may be some memorial kind of events taking place. We're putting up plaques and probably monuments. And maybe we'll build a house there. We'll see in the future. But it's going to be more of a cultural history of recognizing what they did to our people. In this country, we helped build. We went overseas to fight for it. We fought for it. We fought to help Canada. We fought to help Europe. And yet they treated us less than the value of a cattle. A cow was worth more than us. So, and again, it hurts me that no one in this country, no politician, no province, no federal government stood up and said, whoa, wait a second, that's absolutely wrong. We can't burn down a village and a community just for cows and then tell them they're on their own now. That is absolutely, should be shameful in this country. It's a black eye, and Canada should always be a black eye. So, again, come to St. Madeleine, enjoy yourself. There's lots of proud people still there, descendants of the families that have since passed, still gather there. They still bury their loved ones in the graveyard. But we'll be there to celebrate and have a good time and remind everybody the Métis are still here, proud as ever can be, and ready to stand up and always defend ourselves. So, again, I want to make that very clear. So, now on another note, on fire, I go back to fire now. At 406 McGregor, our donation depot and evacuee reception center is now closed. Donated items will continue to be distributed to those in need, which we're actually working with the province. We still have quite an abundance of donations that were given to us with the kind hearts of Métis and Manitobans and businesses. So we are actually donating those now back. There's still some people in hotels, and of course we were able to distribute those to the ones that were in arenas and halls, and we also took buses to hotels and had them drive to the Métis store, we'll call it, and they shopped and got the stuff they needed. Because, again, people must realize that they were told to leave their villages or communities and only with a backpack. So imagine what can you pack in a backpack if you have a bunch of kids with you. So thank God the kind hearts of Manitobans and Métis citizens that came to give and help out donated so much, from strollers to, you name it, Pampers, to clothing, and on and on and on. Some big companies came along and also jumped in, donated. You have the Jewish community also gave $10,000. Jewish Foundation, I believe, from Larry Vicker, and then we had our lawyers from Toronto and that they donated about 50,000-60,000. So all over the place, it was helpful because the stuff that some of the people needed, we had to go buy because donations didn't really cover every need of our citizens or those that were evacuees. But again, I want to thank, of course, Stephanie and her team for leading that and the great job they did. And they worked so hard. And I promise I will spoil them for all Red River Métis to hear. I'll have a dinner for them and I'll work with them and to say thank you very, very much for helping so many citizens that were forced to evacuate their communities and homes. And many were so stressed that they would find that their village was no longer there. Look at Denia Beach, was not far from Cranberry. The entire community was burnt out on one side and part of the 1/3 of the other side. So that's scary to come back. You have no house. You got all your precious, artifacts and things that you gather, personal stuff, your own personal items, and if you don't have insurance, you've lost everything. So that's a scary place to be in, and I hope that the First Nations and help out. I'm sure they will. Denia Beach is First Nation community there, and I hope they go out of their way to make sure, and the government steps in to help them at the same time. So again, I want to say thank you to that and to all those people that are making such a big difference. So we'll continue to give out the clothing and all the other stuff we have, and of course we have it still at Ray Marius, one of our storage units, which we have not officially opened yet. We still have people in some of our buildings. Some from I think Cross Lake's gone back, but some of them not. I don't think everyone's gone back. I know there's a variety of different families we have in our buildings because we have apartments and some others that we use. And so I want to say again, kudos to all the people helping out to make their comfort as positive as possible and as comfortable as possible. And also to our camps. Not the First Nation know our camps do exist. We have 3 camps in Manitoba, one in Treeherne, one I believe in Mafeking, and then one I believe in Winnipeg. Yes. So those 3 camps played a very important role, and even the people that were in there, I love the stories that the men were coming out and the women saying, "Look, is there anything we can do? Like we're really bored here. We'd like to work if we could. We're not charging you nothing. We'll cut grass. We'll do anything we can to keep busy to help out." So it just shows you again the pride of the people. Like so, they don't just expect things to be given to them. They want to help out and give their share the way they can by good labor. And so we're very proud to see that and actually have them working, helping out to make the stay for everybody more comfortable. So that was, again, we kept those camps for that reason. Of course, as we know, those not even a couple years ago, we had evacuation again in Cranberry and other places. So, and our camps are fully equipped. We got internet in there. We got TVs in the rooms. We got washers and dryers, and on and on and on. We have cooks and kitchens and everything. So if they ever want to use them again, if it ever comes to the need, I hope it doesn't. But our camps will be available to jump in to help out. Now we're going to close off a little bit with a story before I get to the birthdays. Maybe I'll get to the birthdays in that first, because I got to talk about some crazy man from the South yet next. And of course, we all know that's Trump. And I'm sure I'm hearing horror stories of people crossing the border, Canadians and others, or they take their phone away from them. And if they see anything that you're criticizing, whether Secretary of State or you're criticizing the president, they actually disallow you or they could jail you.
Yeah.
So it's become a different. America's a different place now, completely, and we're still fighting hard. And I'll get to that to prevent any chance we have of helping America in any way because they're out to hurt us, and the people of America are just allowing Trump to do, and they're not standing up hard enough or fighting hard enough. In my view, I'm talking about Democrats and the Republicans that have all bowed down to him in fear of his retaliation. And that's what he wants. He wants people to be afraid of him. And I guarantee you Canada will never be afraid of him, and Canada will never bow to no one. So that's our position as Métis, I guarantee that. And I've echoed that in Senate, and I echoed that in the Parliamentary Committee, that we will not kneel to nobody. Canada is a proud country, and we will fight to defend anybody that tries to attack us in any, whether it's economic or military. We'll fight to defend ourselves. We've always done, always will. Now, let me go to birthdays. We've got special birthdays coming out. I had a good visit from Oliver Boulette, reminding me about his sister's birthday, and Caroline Boulette, she's turning 80 years old. So happy birthday, or Saturday, June 28th. So happy birthday to Caroline Boulette. I had Amanda make sure that, I'm sure Oliver picked it up, to send her a nice gift. And I want to again say a special big thank you to Oliver reminding me about his sister's 80th birthday. So it's always important we recognize the age and time we see that the timing of their life, 80 years already to walk this planet, and I hope a lot more. So again, happy 80th and happy 77th birthday is going out to Linda Coop, Elder Oliver Bollett's sister. Oh, yes, two of them. We're celebrating, I didn't know this one, birthday on Canada Day, Tuesday, July 1st. Oliver, he never told me about Linda. So he told me about Caroline, but it's in my report. So happy 76th birthday going out to Elder Oliver Bollett's sister, Linda Coop. Happy 24th birthday is going out to Kiera Satchvi, Carrie and Donnie Smith's daughter. We're celebrating Kiera. Okay, that's her name, yeah. They should have told me, I should have checked first with Donnie and Carrie, which I know Kiera very well. She's a nurse now. I'm very, very proud of her. I didn't know how to say her last name, but she's got married, and that's her new name. She was a Smith prior. So happy birthday, Kiera. She's, as I said, I remember as a child at so many of our meetings, and now she's a woman, married, and a nurse. Oh, time is flying. And congratulations going on happy 25th wedding anniversary to Rochelle and Bruce Nault. We're celebrating their anniversary on Canada Day, July 1st. So Rochelle's been with us at least 25 years or more. Happy anniversary is going to Muriel and Lori Parker. Of course, Muriel Parker was a longtime cabinet member who is living in Swan River now. They're celebrating their anniversary on Wednesday, July 2nd. Again, kudos to you, Muriel and Lori. Now, I don't know if you've all been watching the news in the context of what's going on. There was a discussion of negotiation that was happening with Canada and the United States on this tariff issue, and people can't take this lightly. I hope you're hearing me loud and clear. This tariff is affecting our economy. It is already starting to trickle into the pricing of our commodities and products we purchase and business we do. It is already hitting Métis businesses. We know it's affecting them. So we raised that with the government, and we raised that with the Minister Sala. I just finished meeting him, Minister of Finance, for the province. And we did talk about how this tariff and this change that's coming is really starting to trickle into the everyday business. And it's going to get worse, not better. But there was hope. There was hope. There was negotiations taking place with Trump and his team, and of course our Prime Minister Carney and his team. And it was announced by Trump and he canceled it. Now he walked away from it, and he said there's no more negotiations, there's no more discussions, and he's going to announce within a week what he's going to punish us with a tariff. What the tariff is going to be. So a tariff is like a tax, and it will affect the consumer, the people. We will retaliate, obviously, with our own tariff war with them, because their products come into our country too, and our country will react, and also put a tariff pricing on their products. So it's going to hurt Americans too. I don't think it's just Canadians that are going to suffer. In fact, there's going to be a hardship that's going to take place that with Americans themselves. Their businesses are going to feel it. There'll be impacts. It'll affect them, their economy. So it's going to be a trade war that should never take place, a tariff war that should never have happened. But Trump is an unusual character. He's a different creature, and he's a very odd man. In the context of watch him, I listen to a lot of his messages because I want to trying to get an handle of where he might be going. But it's hard to read this man. He just switches with the wind. He could be supporting you today, and next day you're his enemy. So even if you sign a deal with him, I don't think we can trust him anyway. So that's why I go back to the issue of Bill 5. I got a few minutes left. Bill 5 passed Parliament, passed Senate, and now it's official law. And people are saying some are speaking against, Indigenous people are speaking against Bill 5. There's a lot of untrust. Of course, we don't have full trust either. But what's happening to our country is that war. It's an economic war with the United States. And it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt everyone, not just the government. Don't say, this is the government's problem. It's not. It's your problem and mine, because it's going to affect our economy. If we go into a recession, and a recession for everybody, just to grab what that means, it's going to be really an effect on the full operation of the finances in this country. Your everyday operations with the government would be in charge of, whether it's in health, education, economic development, you name the direction of the area, it will have an effect. When a recession happens, that means there's not enough money coming in to run the country, not enough money to run business. Businesses will crumble. Businesses like COVID. When COVID came, it took a lot of businesses down. It actually closed a lot of businesses. And so a lot of people lost their future, lost their past, lost all their investments. And that's what can happen in a recession. And that's why we believe we need to come together. We need to work. The government needs to work with us. We got to trust it. Unfortunately, we're in a situation where we don't have full trust ourselves. And we're worried about sometimes the government gets so caught up with the people around them, they forget about those that are helping them stand up. And so as First Nations, a lot of them don't trust. We don't have full trust ourselves. But I do have to take a position as a leader of the National Red River government. We've got to work together as a country. Set aside all the political strife right now. We've got to find a way to overcome this economic war. This is a real war without guns. And there's no weapons here, but finances and money. And that is a dangerous weapon if it ever comes back and hits you. So when you start buying your products, I don't care where you live, you're going to start seeing those products going higher, and higher. Soon you can't even afford them. So that's what a recession does and really begins to hurt. So I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to tell you the facts. There's a problem coming, and we need to work together to prepare it. So we supported Bill 5. We told the Prime Minister we need to meet with you. We need to understand consultations, that you're truly going to consult with us. We need to make sure the environment is not fully damaged, because right now it's about economic trade. It's going to be, where do we sell our oil right now? Majority of all our oil sales go to the United States. Majority of all of our fish right now, pickerel, goes to 80% of that goes to the United States. So all of our commercial fishermen out there, your fish is sold to freshwater. Freshwater sells majority of all their fish to the United States. But if that trade war happens, that's going to have some damaging effects. So what's going to happen to the fishing community? And is there going to be effects there? So when you start looking at it from everything from aluminum to steel, Selkirk, Manitoba has a steel plant. That's going to be affected. So you look right across. Now, but there's other shining stars here coming out of economic Bill 5. There's going to be a massive investment in defense. And you heard the Premier talk about that in Manitoba. And, of course, he's standing firm to protect our province, too. But there's a good chance we could be involved with a massive investment in our province, because Canada has actually got to build up the defense now, because this talk of a World War III coming, there's possibilities of this. There is a possibility. I'm not making this up. This is a possibility there could be a war. And, of course, Trump is the one that's leading a lot of this, or causing a lot of it, and it's impacted the way countries are reacting to each other, and the bigger countries are trying to take over the smaller countries. And that's going to lead to some dangerous positions, and where Russia, big countries like Russia, which has nuclear weapons, China is already talking themselves. They're getting involved. So you look at Iran, United States, and Israel. You look at what's happened in the Gaza Strip with Israel. So there's a great danger that something could explode and not be able to pull it back in time. So, but when you look at it from that side, there's going to be a big investment. I'm going past my time a little bit here, you guys, if you don't mind. Because when you look at it, and we look towards the future, we need to find a defense. The United States are already telling us they're tired of putting up money to defend us. We need to defend ourselves. You know, they're not really defending us. Don't be fooled by the rhetoric of Trump. He has no choice but to defend the North. He has no choice, because Russia is closest on that side of us. And if there's a war with Russia or China, there's a great chance they'll come from the northern part, which has to go through Canada. So, of course, he's going to have to invest in the North. He's got to protect the North. He's not protecting us. He's protecting the United States. But, of course, in order to come through the United States, they may have to come through Canada. So that's why there's going to be a big investment in the North, and we believe that it's going to lead to great opportunities in Churchill, the port of Churchill, and further down into the Arctic. So our Premier's on that. He sees it, he recognizes it, and he's jumping on the opportunity to see what we can benefit as Manitoba, as a government, which means, really what it means is billions and billions of dollars coming into our province, which will create great opportunity for jobs and opportunity for development. So the Arctic Gateway is going to be a big opportunity for us if we're successful. And the oil's got to come through. If it can go through British Columbia or through Quebec, because both premiers said they're not allowing oil to go through the pipelines through their provinces. They may have to come through into the Hudson Bay. And that'll give us another opportunity in First Nations, a massive opportunity for economic development. So again, the environment is an issue we all have to be concerned about. So I'm going past my time here a little bit, because this is an important situation occurring. I did meet with the appointment of the Premier, Richard Madden. He's actually been appointed by the province to lead and help us prepare ourselves for this upcoming economic war with the United States. He's done a ton of work in the United States. He's been involved in getting a good grasp from the communication side of where the country is going economically, and at the same time, they're looking at how is the people in the United States reacting to Trump? All those people that support him, massive groups of farmers supported him, but now those farmers are being hurt because he's, as you know, he's chasing people out of the United States that are not, which he claims not Americans. They come from Mexico. They come from different places. So they work in the farms. So when you lose all those workers, what does farmers do? They're in big trouble. So there's a lot of farmers right now upset with the same president they voted for. That's hurting them. So and Mr. Madden, who's been appointed by a premier, is to try to feel that all out and figure out how we can join with some states to convince Trump it's a bad decision and a bad direction that he's taking both countries into. So with that, I'll stop. I'll give a better update with Minister Sala. I did meet, he's, of course, the Minister of Hydro, at the same time, Minister of Finance. And I'll give you that update next week because I'm a little bit past my time. And I want to let our callers in. But these are important times, my friends. I'll keep you posted as best I can. I'm also open my arms openly. I want to work with the First Nations. We need to stand together here. It's not a time to look at division. It's a time to see unification, being united and standing together. So, again, with that being said, I wish everybody good luck in our fishing challenge the next 2 days. And it sounds like, Davison holidays. It's a lot of work, you guys. And I got to get that fish to the elders. I promised them, and I keep my word. And I will get those fish out there somehow. I'll try and get as much as we can. And I want to thank Janice Yakachuk for letting me stay at her place. And again, thank you to all that support the Métis Hour. And thank you very much. And again, Shirley's funeral is next July 5th, I believe. That'll take place. Of course, Shirley passed away. And I was able to go see her at the hospital before she left. But I'll talk about it next Saturday. So talk to you guys next Saturday. Thank you again, Jeff, for covering this Saturday's show.
Thank you, President Chartrand. It's well said. I was listening to it all, and I was getting a little fired up over here, too, but that's a whole different show.
Yeah, right on. Okay, guys, you take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.